Hello, my name is Takumi Segi. I am currently about to be a third-year student at School of Visual Arts studying design and advertising. I want to focus on motion graphics. I took a gap year after my second year because of COVID, and online school is dumb. So here I am sharing my accepted portfolio from 2 years ago? 3? Maybe 2. Let's get right into it. Now, before I get into too much details about the portfolio, this did get into like other art schools like MICA, SAIC, SCAD, whatever, you know, those like top league design schools, which, you know, design schools and names, it really doesn't matter. Like, that's a whole nother conversation and we can make a video about that, but like, I know many of you guys are applying to it, and then, you know, let's just talk about the work itself and then leave it at that. My background, and when I was in high school, I attended what was called the South Carolina Governor's School of Arts and Humanity. And then that's where I learned everything about art, from not just design, but from sculpture to drawing to even about life, you know what I mean? It was a wonderful experience, and then the friends that I made there, because I would even argue that that was like more critical to my art career or like just life in general than my college experiences. So yes, for this video I did dig up my hard drive and find all the work that went into it, but you know, rather than doing that, I thought it was just more beneficial for you guys to just look through my slide room, since I know like everything's online these days. And then I did go to like the National Portfolio Day events and stuff, and then do have a physical portfolio. But if you guys want to see that and like talk about like presenting your work, I'll be down to make another video, but let's just go into it. Most of my final portfolio looked around to be the same, except I made few adjustments depending on schools and what they like, because each school have their own taste or flavor that they prefer. If that's drawing requirements, sketching requirements, to process requirements, you know, ask the advisors there, like send them an email, like they were more than likely to reach back, and then you want to adjust your portfolio best to their department. Not that departments really matter and what you're majoring in, because if you don't feel like that's the right fit for you, you can always switch it out once you get into school, so don't worry too much about that. This is some of my observational drawings class, and then as you can see in like the but this slide room, that this is more of a common practice that we do in the Japanese college entrance exams. Like, I'm not the best at it, but like drawing those like Roman Empire busts and whatnot is pretty common in Japan. Any drawing with pencil, charcoal, like just black and white is like usually necessary, and like schools like to see that, so make sure you add it in. And I also did like other stuff with watercolors, like, you know, people really talk about this, but like the variety in which you can expand your work is important. You know, having a style is one thing, but like you can go into a college without a style and develop it there. Like, most people have like some sort of style, but it's usually not defined at the point of level that you're in at the high school level. So you can really expand it once you get into college. So if you don't have like a style, which I don't, like, don't even worry about it, because that's not going to be a big deal. And then, you know, some sculpture stuff, hydrocal, like representing that you know about the body, like the study of like the three matters. The Bridgman book thing. 3 major masses. That one. I remember it, Thompson. And some of the sculptures that I made with metals, and like, you know, I was like really into like annealing, forming, and soldering. Like, I was not just a graphic design person. And then sketches, you know, just make 1-2 neat spread in your sketchbook. Like, it's so important to keep one, I would say, especially at a high school level. Like, once you get into college, like, it doesn't matter as much, but I still like the hands-on. Like, digital sketchbook is one thing, but physical sketchbook, like having post-it notes, like just taking like a splotch of paint and just like wiping it across a page and then drawing on top of it, like just experiment. It's your place to do whatever you want and nobody cares. And then most neat sketchbook pages, or people are like look at it and they're like, oh, that's unique, that's cool, like nice process, whatever. And then some of my more metals stuff, like I was really into metals my senior year. Like it's pretty fun. Like I know not many schools have the program or the resources to do it, but if you guys do have the chance, even as an elective in college, even just to experiment in your backyard, you know, super fun. And then in here we get into more of my new media stuff. Also studying animation, so this is my walk cycle and collection of walk cycle. I mean, to be honest, like it's pretty embarrassing. It's not good. Like these are kind of basic, but hand drawn. I learned how to do drag and frame. I knew about stop motion, and then this is where I really began getting into motion graphics, which is supposedly what I want to do as my job, or part of my job. And then some of the photography stuff, you know, additional details. This tab I just wrote like, oh, I know how to use Adobe Lightroom, I know how to raw process, I know how to take it into the Lightroom, do color manipulations, color grading, etc. Now at this point I would make sure that, you know, not only like it's not just about showing what you can do with the camera, or like how you know how to process, more like start thinking about these concepts behind your work, because at this point on, like these underlying concepts inside your work, because that almost defines how good your work is itself, because it's not really about the technique at the end of the day, but it's about the message and the communication that you have inside the work itself. And then here I had some more photography, you know, talk about leading lines, talk about perspectives, and then, you know, make it into a series. Like, you know, Lightroom could be really flexible. Now that I'm thinking about it, like the only thing I hated was that the freaking file size limits. It's like we're talking about a professional work, and then they're requiring like 5 megabytes per limit or something. It was insane, and to be honest, I really hated that. And then some album cover stuff, you know, this developed, I mean, especially with RISD, but many art schools, in my experience, in talking to advisors, they like when you can like combine 2 areas of art study. So what if it's like a photography that you process in etching, or like, you know, here, like, including this, like you took your own photo and you turn it into a graphic design process. I would highly advise like combining 2 studies of art, or like even 3 or 4, even better that way, and show the depth of the concept development you can do even at this high school level, because I know you guys are capable. You guys see so many good work these days, like Instagram, Behance, it's all insane. Like you feel like everybody's like so much better, but like trust me, you're not any less, and like you're not any different in terms of like the skill sets or the tools that you have. Ultimately, I'm speaking. And then, whoa, that was weird. Like, I guess I uploaded a PDF, but like the posters that I did, and then I would almost argue that like real life work, or like doing stuff for clients at this level, if you can just include one, just fake it, like make some events and like add like a poster if you're a design student, because poster design's like so important. Just make sure like you know good typography. Like I would not call this good typography, but my skill set at this time, it was good enough. Moving on. And then like here, like more stuff that we did for our school, like banned books weeks. I did the photography and like the type treatment. Could be better, but you know, it was good enough at the time. And then I also have that like banned books, and Harry Potter being like some witchcraft, it was banned from some school, so I had like these mosaic things going over with the book. And that's Robert. Hey, here's one tip that you should do. Don't just use white people in your work. It's boring and it sucks. And then this is so embarrassing, but I designed this. I want to turn this volume down, but like, you know, me wanting to go into graphic design, UI, and data designs like pretty important in that industry, I guess. So like I designed this like app which like the icons and typography, can use some work, but you know, like I designed like a whole process of apps, which I guess at the high school time, like showing that I can use Illustrator and like know something about like user interface design was important. Sure, moving on. Slider, like there, I know some schools limit the number of artwork you can like upload, but once you apply, you can email your advisors and be like, hey, like, you know, I worked on this and this and this, and I have like my final senior project, which like by the time you're applying, like you will be working on it. So like you can just give your colleges like a work in progress type thing, and I'm sure like most advisors and stuff likes to look at these like advisors. I've been calling it advisor, but whoever's like accepting you will always enjoy looking at more work in the process. Yeah, also with that, like I also had like sketchbook pages about the concept. This was like my branding project, talking about like environmental issues. You know, I was really passionate about like plastic and like ocean at the time, and I still am. And then so like making a like a project based on like some environment or like social issue that you're like concerned about, because like there's too many issues in this world that like, you know, you really want to be selective with what you choose, but like always like going for like the greater thing. And especially because as a designer, I believe you're here to solve problems, and that's like the foundation of design. So this is like a concept that you can turn ocean waste into fiber. Like Adidas did something similar with Paré, and it was really cool. So based on that, I branded something like sort of similar to it. At this point, I think I was more than halfway through my senior year, and then that's when you really start knowing like how to use all these programs, and you learn more about the greater picture of typography and design. So that's like some of the work that like I was really proud of at the time. And then digital illustration, I'm sure I'll make an insert, which I wish I do as more. Like these vector flat drawings are harder than it looks, and you know, I enjoy doing it. It didn't take me that long, but you know, I wish I like knew how to texture more, but maybe like the flat look isn't that bad. Narrative pitch, storytelling. And then finally my reel at the time, which is embarrassing because anybody can look at this and be like, oh, he knows After Effects from YouTube, and these are like the first 3 YouTube tutorials that like you can find on the internet, which is like you could just tell that I don't just use fractal noise and like apply some numbers. Like that's so embarrassing. Yeah, but like that's when I was like getting into motion graphics, and like, you know, I've like, to be honest with you, like that was the portfolio that got me into like all these like top art schools. And like it's really not that good. And I would even argue that schools don't care about like the skill set you have, but rather like they value the potential that you have inside of you, like your interest in the topics of art, your interest in the various areas of art. But you know, I got in, and then I'm still making work, but if you want to see more stuff, like feel free to comment down below. Alright, before we wrap up this video, I called my friend Kevin, so hear a word from him and his advice.
Hey, bitch.
Hey, bitch! What advice do you have for applying to college?
For applying to college?
Yeah.
I think you should, I think one of the most important things is to be confident. And don't think ill of your work just because you're intimidated by other applicants. Like, sell yourself. Go with that shit. You know?
Alright, great advice. Alright, I'll show you the video when I post it. I'm gonna post your portfolio in my link below. Alright. Thanks. Love you. I'll call you sometime soon. Bye-bye. Alright, that's it for me today. I know many of you guys are nervous about like going into our school or like applying, like am I gonna get a job? I mean, these are the discussions that we can keep going on this channel. Like feel free to comment down below and I can make it a video. Like I can invite my friends over and then we can like chat about like our experiences in art school or like the process and advice we might have if we want to, you know, help you guys like as much as possible. Alright, I think that's it for me. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next video. Peace. I'm too far away. Bye. God, do I look stupid? I bet I do. Wow, wow, wow.